it is October 1st when I'm filming this, so I'm starting to get a little better. And as of now, I'm like halfway through editing the August wrap up. So, I don't know, it just makes me happy to see myself improving over time. But anyway, we do have a tier list to make for September. Not a lot really going on this month. I was kind of in an everything slump, if I'm being honest. September wasn't a great month for me. First things first, as always, we do need to go over the tiers that I made this month. I was really running out of ideas. I didn't know what to do. So I just made them the Bridgerton men. So at the bottom we have Benedict. I might do a review of the Bridgerton series or each book individually or even a reading vlog for the Bridgerton books. We'll see. I'm not a Benedict fan. I thought he was an awful human being. Check out my Goodreads if you want to see, because I do think I wrote down my opinions of Benedict on my Goodreads account. So go check out my Goodreads if you want to see. I do update my Goodreads like almost every day. So if you want to see like up to date when I'm reading, Goodreads is a good place to follow me. Then I have Gregory. I'm just finished Francesca's books. That's the last Bridgerton book I read, so I just haven't seen a lot of Gregory, so I don't really have an opinion on him. So that's just where he fell. And then we have Edmund. Same thing with Edmund. We haven't really seen a lot of Edmund. We do get to hear a lot about Edmund and how great he was. So he is going to be middle of the road. We do love Edmund. He raised some fine guys, except for Benedict. Then we have Colin Bridgerton. I mean, come on. He's funny, he's charming, he's sweet. Everyone likes Colin. But number one for me is Anthony. Unless Gregory up here is pulling out like some showstopper moves that we don't know of yet, there is no beating Anthony. And this is not just because of Jonathan Bailey. I loved Anthony Bridgerton before Bridgerton season 2 was a thing. So, he is the most swoon-worthy Bridgerton brother. You can fight me on that. The way he loves not only Kate, but his entire family. But let's get started on our tiers. First, we have Dead by Daylight. Come on, that's a staple now in the tier list. Dead by Daylight, as always, will be an Anthony Bridgerton. Do I love Dead by Daylight? Yes, absolutely, 1000%. Every time I play Dead by Daylight, does it make me hate myself a little bit more? Yes, absolutely, 1000%. I thought 2v8 was funny and silly, and I had a great time playing it, but it just wasn't for me. I also got a new Nia skin. It's like the counterculture skin, I think it's called, so I did have a lot of fun playing that this month. The Krasu, she came out this month. I haven't gotten to play against her or with her yet, but that was exciting. Right now in Dead by Daylight, I'm just kind of slowly trying to make my way through all the survivors and killers, getting them to at least Prestige 1 so I can get their perks on everyone else. And then also, like, just daily challenges and Rift. I did end up buying the Rift Pass, and I'm kind of low-key regretting it, just because I haven't had a lot of time to play. I think from now on with the Rift Passes, I'll only buy them if I am already a couple of levels into it. Then again, we have K-Pop Demon Hunters. This is, like, my favorite thing of all time. That is Anthony Bridgerton. I have slowed down on my watching of the movie. I don't watch the movie as much as I used to. However, I still do listen to the album, like, almost every day. If I don't listen to the entire album, I'm at least listening to a handful of songs every day from the album. So it is still a problem, but it is getting better. And now, another staple, we have Clues. This is a true crime podcast with Morgan Absher and Kaylin Moore. This is gonna go in Colin just because I haven't been too in love with the cases they've been doing this last month. I still love them. It's still my favorite true crime podcast, but again, just the cases they've been doing this month haven't been exactly my favorite. Today, actually, the day I'm filming this, they just released the Idaho 4, so I might check that out because that is a case that interests me, but also I feel like a lot of the content that I've consumed about the Idaho 4 case has not been very respectful, and that's something I do always love about Kaylin and Morgan, is that they do always feel so respectful. I don't even know where to go. We're gonna do books last, so let's just go to the other podcast I listened to, and that was actually Heart Start Pounding with Kaylin Moore, who is the other host of Clues. As you guys know, if you've been here a while, I did listen to 2 hot takes before I started listening to Clues. That's actually how I found Clues. I do think I like Clues more though. So I did already know Morgan and her work, but as for Kaylin, I never listened to Heart Start Pounding before, so I thought it was finally time for me to listen to it, and I really liked it. I do think her intro is a little cheesy and takes a little bit long, but overall, I think it's a really good podcast. My only problem is that it is another, like, true crime podcast, or at least the episodes I've listened to have all been true crime, so there is a lot of, like, overlap with Clues, so like I'm not as invested in a lot of them because I would honestly rather listen to the Clues podcast. But for cases that aren't covered in Clues, like I listened to the Sodder children case. I do really like Heart Start Pounding, and I do like that, again, very respectful Kaylin is in this podcast, but I do like that she does try to bring some levity to it. Like she always has a friend with her. They're making jokes, but the jokes are not insensitive, or at least they're not insensitive to the victims. They're more insensitive to the times. Like for the instance, the Sodder children, if you don't know that case, there was an instance where someone came to the house and basically laid out what eventually happened, and they were like, I think we can say what happened. I think we know. That one I'm going to put in Edmund just because I feel like I need to listen to more of it to get a firm opinion on it. I've only listened to like 1 or 2 episodes, not that many, but it is something I am definitely interested in listening more to. We have Man's Best Friend, which is the newest album by Sabrina Carpenter. I had to go to the mechanic this month and I brought a book with me. The book isn't on this because it was like last month. By last month I meant yesterday. So I had to go to the mechanic yesterday, which was the last day of September. I didn't end up finishing the book because I was just starting it, but I did listen to that entire album while I was reading the book at the mechanic. If I had to listen to the people around me reading the book, I would not have read any of the book. I'm gonna be honest, I am not as big of a Man's Best Friend fan as I am with Short and Sweet. I don't know if it's because I've had a chance to listen to Short and Sweet more. I do think it's because, though, I just genuinely like the songs on Short and Sweet more. But I did enjoy Man's Best Friend more listening to it again than I did the first time. I remember the first time I listened to it, it probably would have been in a Benedict here. I didn't like it, but it moved up to Gregory for me. Again, like Gregory, I just feel like I need to spend more time with him. So then the last thing that's not a book on here is The Long Walk, which is the newest Stephen King adaptation. This is a story. This is actually the first time I ever went to the movie theater by myself to see a movie. One week I could be working all morning shifts, the next week I could be working all night shifts. I usually work weekends, so like it is hard for me to find people to go to the movies with. So I didn't end up going to a lot of movies. I don't know why it was this movie, but I was like, you know what, I want to try going to the movies by myself. So I did, and I saw The Long Walk. I felt like it was a big accomplishment for me, kind of when you go to the doctor for the first time by yourself and you don't have your parents there to like give the doctor all the information that you obviously know but you just don't want to say out loud. That will always be associated to The Long Walk for me, but as for The Long Walk itself, I really liked it. I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking, as I've been hearing on TikTok. People are like thinking this is one of the best movies, like one of the best Stephen King adaptations, but like one of the best movies of the year so far. I never got that feeling, but I did still really like it and I would probably still see it again. But honestly, I'm gonna put in Edmund. It just wasn't my favorite. Again, I didn't think it was anything too spectacular. It was still really good, and I think my favorite thing about it is that, I don't know, I just really loved it. It's hard to explain what I liked about it. If you don't know what this movie is about, you must have lived under a rock, but it's basically about this dystopian world where 50 boys, I know it's different in the book, but in the movie, 50 boys are signed up for this thing called the Long Walk. And what it is you keep walking at a speed of 3 miles per hour, and you get 3 warnings, and if you fall under 3 miles per hour 3 times, you are then unalived. And it follows Ray Garrity. He's our protagonist. He's who we're seeing most of it through, as he's forming bonds with these boys, as he's talking about like why he joined the Long Walk, because it is completely voluntary. It's not like the Hunger Games where you have to participate if you're chosen. It is voluntary, so like everyone who's there is like, well, why would you do that then? So it is interesting to see all these conversations. It's a very interesting movie, and it gets you to think a lot. You could easily compare it to the Hunger Games, but in my opinion, it's so different because you're there voluntarily. It's like if everyone in the Hunger Games was a career tribute. So then we'll get to the 2 books I read. One is a kid's book. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the author or the artist for this. And it is called Zombie and Brain Are Friends. And if you don't know, I work at a bookstore, and we have to promote a lot of books. This was one of the books we had to promote. Anyway, I was bored and I didn't really want to do what I was doing, so I picked this up because it was like 20 pages. So I was like, I'm just gonna read this, and then I can promote it better. So overall, it was a benefit to the store. But I read this kid's book, this kid's picture book, and I was like, oh my god! I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I loved it. It's about this like little boy zombie, and him and his family are brain farmers. But one day when he's out on the pastures picking the brains to sell, he finds this one. He's like, this one is extra pink and extra squishy and I love it, and I'm gonna name him Brian. And he keeps a pet brain, and his parents at first are like, you can't do that. But he's like, but I want to, and I'll take care of him, and I love him. So it's just a cute story about a zombie keeping a pet brain. It was really cute. I would highly recommend like reading it to your kids if you have one. I already bought a copy to gift to my cousin next time I see him because he has a little boy that I think would love this book. It's going in Colin Bridgerton. I thought it was such a cute book. I kind of want to buy my own copy just to keep for if I have kids eventually to read to them. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. And then lastly, the last book I have is Leave Me Behind by, I actually have it right here. It's by K.M. Moronova. And it has really pretty sprayed edges. I really loved the sprayed edges on this one. I'm not a huge sprayed edge fan, but that's just because I feel like a lot of sprayed edges are lazy. This one's not lazy. But Leave Me Behind follows Nell. She is a special forces army agent. We'll go with that. And her entire squad is just dead one day. They go on a mission, they all end up dead except for her. So she gets transferred to this other squad who just had a member die. So she's transferred over to that squad. She is going on this mission and she feels like this mission is going to lead her to answers that she's been looking for about what happened to her squad. But the problem is, the reason her squad died, or the reason the squad, like, she is joining, the reason their other team member dies because her squad is actually supposed to go and like rendezvous with them at a point, but obviously they didn't end up doing it because her entire squad died. But that doesn't matter to the new squad. They blame her. They like fucking attack her. None other like more so than Bones. Bones is like the most like badass army dude there is at this base, so like no one fucks with him, and he hates Nell the most. But he also doesn't like when other people are fucking with Nell. So it's a dark romance, enemies to lovers, army. It's so good. I loved it. I read this entire thing in one sitting. I lied. Okay. So the first 50 pages, you're not on the base. You're kind of like, you're traveling with Nell to the base. And like, it's her prepping and her the night before. So like the first 50 pages, you're like, what the fuck am I reading? So, but then you hit page 50 and they're at the base. And once they get to the base, you can't put this book down. This, I read all in one sitting. This, I read on a different sitting. But I really loved it. If you guys remember Kiss the Villain, I have my own copy now of Kiss the Villain. But Kiss the Villain was like my favorite book of the year so far. This might give it a run for its money. I'm still thinking about it, but I've been thinking about this one a lot lately. So I highly recommend reading Leave Me Behind. The author actually, because again, I work in a bookstore, so I can like go in our system and see when authors are putting new books out. She has another book coming out, I think in November, and I have already reserved it for myself. Yeah, but anyway, Leave Me Behind is definitely an Anthony. But yeah, that is everything I did this month. Again, not a lot going on this month, very uneventful, but